I came home to the smell of old pizza, burnt something in the oven, and feet on the coffee table. My uncle was sprawled on the couch, watching reruns of some cop show like he hadn't moved all day. My cousin had her headset on, locked into her game, yelling at strangers online like her life depended on it. And the apartment looked like a tornado hit it. Fast food wrappers, dirty dishes, an overflowing trash bag sitting next to the trash can. I dropped the sack of food on the counter, burgers, fries, drinks, all paid for with my overtime. I didn't even get a thanks. Instead, my uncle called out, "Did you at least make dinner? Or are we eating garbage again?" I stared at him. "I just worked 12 hours, came straight from the factory. I picked up food." He grunted, didn't even look at me. Right? Figures. No one here ever puts in effort. My blood started to boil. I'd been biting my tongue for years, but that night, something cracked. "You serious right now? Who do you think pays for the internet you're watching TV on? Or the electricity for that game she's playing?" I jabbed my finger toward the living room. "You think that crap pays for itself?" He muted the TV like he was finally ready to argue. "Don't start with me. You live here rent-free. You eat our food. Don't act like some hero because you brought home takeout. Your food." I laughed, bitter. "Half this apartment is in my name. I've been paying the bills while you sit your ass at home." He stood up, and even though he's older, he still had that old man's strength. "You got something to say to me? Say it, or pack your crap and go." I stared at him, heart pounding in my ears. My cousin peeked over her headset, but didn't say a word. "You think I'm lazy?" I said. "You think I don't do anything? Fine." I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I just grabbed my keys off the hook, walked past both of them without looking back, and stepped outside. "Before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from?" I could still hear the TV as I shut the door behind me. Loud and pointless, just like the people I left behind. The door clicked behind me and I didn't look back. I got in my car, hands still shaking, and drove without a destination. Just needed to be gone. Found a grimy motel off I-65, one of those places with flickering signs and rooms that smell like cigarettes and bleach. I paid cash. Didn't want them seeing the charge on the statement and figuring out where I went. Inside, the room was stale and quiet. I dropped on the edge of the bed, phone in my hand. I waited. Nothing. An hour passed. Then 2. Then the whole damn night. I didn't sleep. Just laid there with the TV on mute, staring at the cracked ceiling, checking my phone every 10 minutes like some idiot waiting on an apology that wasn't coming. Next morning, still nothing. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. By the second night, it was sinking in. No one cared where I went. No call from my uncle. No text from my cousin. Not even a "you good" from either of them. Like I'd never lived there. Like I didn't pay their bills. Third day, I couldn't take the motel anymore. Shower barely worked, and the room made me feel like I was rotting. I texted my buddy from work, Kyle, warehouse shift with me, asked if he knew anyone renting a room. He replied 5 minutes later. "Yeah, my cousin's got a spot. Small room, but cheap. No lease." That same night, I moved in. The room was barely bigger than a closet, but it had a clean mattress, a working fan, and nobody asking what I'd done for them lately. I sat on the edge of the bed with my laptop and started making calls. Bank first. Removed my name from the joint checking account. That one stung a little. I'd opened it 5 years ago so bills would be easier to manage. They never once asked how things got paid, just swiped the card and assumed. Next was the electric company. I told them to take my name off the service address. Same with gas, internet, water. I didn't argue, didn't explain, just said, "I'm no longer responsible for that property," and moved on. Called the car insurance too. My cousin was on my policy. Took her off, changed my address. She'd have to get her own now. Every time I clicked confirm, I felt lighter. Last thing I did was cancel the auto payments on the college fund I'd set up in her name. Nothing big, just $100 here and there, but it added up. I doubt she even knew I'd been helping. They said I didn't do anything? Fine. Let's see what nothing looks like without me. On the 8th day, my phone buzzed at 6:30 in the morning. Just one message. "Hey, do you know why the power's out?" It was from my cousin. No, "Hey, how are you?" No, "Where'd you go?" Not even a half-assed check-in. Just straight to the inconvenience. I stared at the screen for a second, still half asleep, then typed back. Thought I didn't do anything. Then I turned the phone off, held the button down until the screen went black. That little room I was renting stayed dark too, but not because the lights didn't work. I just didn't bother turning them on. I sat there in the quiet for a while, breathing slow, hands in my lap. I wasn't angry. Not really. I was done. When I powered my phone back on that evening, It lit up like a Christmas tree. 7 missed calls. 4 voicemails. Pile of texts all from her. I didn't mean it like that. Are you mad at me? The Wi-Fi's down too. Did we forget to pay something? My phone plan just shut off. Is it a glitch? Tuition didn't go through. It's saying payment failed? And one that just said, please call me. Still nothing from my uncle. Not a word. I listened to the voicemails. She sounded freaked, voice cracking, trying to sound calm but slipping. I thought the bills came out automatically. Why's everything off all of a sudden? I swear I didn't know. Can you just let me know what's going on? Another one, later in the day. I just tried calling Uncle Rick and he doesn't know anything either. Can you tell me what's happening? Please. That one made me stop. He didn't know anything? He was the one who threw me out like trash. So what was he doing now? Sitting in the dark, confused as hell, wondering why the heat cut off and the water bill doubled? I scrolled through the messages again. All of them were about stuff. Payments, accounts, services. Not a single one asked where I was staying, if I was okay. They didn't miss me. They missed what I did. And you know what? That hit harder than I expected. Because I hadn't just paid bills. I filled the gaps, kept the place running. I took the hits they didn't even see. And now, without me there, the cracks were wide open. They were starting to panic. But I didn't feel sorry. Not yet. I turned off my phone again. Let them sit in it. When I turned my phone back on 2 days later, it was chaos. My cousin had messaged me 12 times in a row, each one more frantic than the last. Do you still have access to the rent account? I thought Uncle Rick paid that? The landlord just called me. I don't even know what to say. Please, just tell me what's happening. How do we fix this? There were missed calls, voicemails, even a couple emails she must have sent from the university library or something. She was full-on spiraling now. Then came the line that really hit. I didn't realize you did all this. Not sorry. Not I was wrong. Just confused. Just caught. Then came one message that made me freeze. Uncle's freaking out now. He's calling the gas company. Says the bills past due by like 2 months. Did something get messed up? 2 months? That meant even before he kicked me out, I'd been covering him without him noticing. I sat back on the bed, thumb hovering over my screen, staring at that line. He's calling the gas company. Like that's gonna solve anything. Like someone else just dropped the ball and now Daddy Rick's gotta make a few angry phone calls to set it all straight. Still no text from him. Not one. Just her, scrambling to figure out why everything was falling apart. She sent another message a few hours later. The car insurance is gone too, right? Is that why my phone plan is frozen? I swear I didn't know you were paying for all that. I thought Mom had set it up before she moved. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because here's the thing, they didn't notice until it affected them. They didn't feel the weight until it landed square on their heads. They never asked who made sure the rent was paid early so the late fee wouldn't hit. Who stayed up arguing with Comcast when the Wi-Fi dropped. Who cut back on eating lunch just to keep her stupid cell phone on. And now they were shocked, like this came out of nowhere. I stared at the screen, and part of me wanted to reply. Wanted to fix it, lay it all out in one big message. Here's the breakdown. Here's the math. Here's the reason you were never cold in the winter or sweating in the summer. But I didn't, because I knew what would happen. They'd say thank you maybe once. They'd promise to step up, but nothing would change. I'd end up right back in that apartment, clocking in at 6 a.m. and picking up everyone else's slack like always. So I kept quiet, let them panic, let him scramble. They needed to feel it, not just for a day. Long enough to understand what I really did. Another voicemail came through that night, from her again. I know you're mad. I would be too. But can you just tell me what we're supposed to do now? That we was cute. I powered my phone off again. Not out of anger, out of clarity. I wasn't the villain here. I was the safety net. And they'd cut me loose without ever looking down. Let them fall. It was the 3rd week when I got it. I'd been keeping my phone on silent, only checking it once a day. Just enough to make sure nothing serious was on fire. That afternoon, there was one new voicemail. From him. I stared at his name for a long time before pressing play. His voice came through low and dry, like he hadn't slept much. Hey, it's Rick. Look, I've been going through some of the old bills, trying to figure out why everything's falling apart. He paused. I heard shuffling, maybe papers in the background. Then a deep sigh. I pulled up the electric. That account's been in your name since 2019. Didn't know that. Internet too. Water. The car insurance. Another pause. I thought you were just helping out here and there. But it looks like hell. It looks like you were paying almost everything. I didn't realize that. The line went quiet again. My heart was pounding, but not in anger. I didn't even know what I was feeling. Then he added, we should talk. Whenever you're ready, just call me. All right, click, end of message. No apology. No, I was wrong. No, I'm sorry I kicked you out. Just confusion. A tired man finally noticing what had been right in front of him. I hit replay, listened again and again, for times in total. Each time I expected to hear something different, like maybe I'd missed a word, a tone shift, something that would make it feel like more than just facts. But it was always the same, just him naming the things I used to carry. He was going through the bills now? What? Did he think I forged the statements? Thought I was lying about it all just to score points? I sat back in the chair, staring at the crack in the ceiling. The air felt heavy. I wanted to feel good, like I'd won, like all those nights of quiet sacrifice had finally been seen. But it didn't feel like a win. It felt like it took everything breaking for him to finally notice I'd been holding it all together. Not once, in all that rambling, did he say he missed me. Not me. Just the payments, the names on the accounts. That hurt more than I expected. And still, part of me wanted to call. Wanted to walk him through the mess like I always did. I could already hear it in my head. Him saying something like, "You should have told me, man. I didn't ask you to do all that." Like that made it better. Like not asking meant he didn't owe me anything. I picked up the phone, put in my passcode. Thumb hovered over the screen. Then I turned it face down on the table. He wanted to talk? He could sit with it a little longer. I finally texted him back 5 days after that voicemail. Friday, noon. Edna's Diner on 3rd. He replied with a thumbs up. That was it. I got there early, sat in the booth by the window, the one with the ripped vinyl seat and a wobbly salt shaker. Ordered coffee and didn't touch it. He walked in 10 minutes late, baseball cap in his hands, looking like someone had deflated him. Big shoulders hunched in, eyes tired, hair thinner than I remembered. He slid into the booth across from me and looked around like he didn't know where to start. "Thanks for meeting me," he said. I didn't answer. Just stared at him until he sighed. How the hell did things get this bad? I pulled a folded sheet of paper from my jacket pocket and slid it across the table. I'd written it all down. Every bill I'd paid, every recurring charge, every school fee, every car maintenance receipt. 6 years' worth. He glanced over it, eyes moving fast at first, then slower. His mouth opened like he wanted to say something, but nothing came out. "You were never just helping out," I said. "I covered everything." He looked up. "Why didn't you say something?" I leaned back in the booth, arms crossed. "Would it have mattered? Every time I spoke up, you shut it down. Made it sound like I was being dramatic. That's not true." "It is," I cut in. "You said I lived there rent-free, that I ate your food. Meanwhile, I was paying for the lights, the water, the goddamn roof." He dropped his eyes back to the paper. "I just figured, I don't know, that you wanted to help, that you were pitching in, not carrying the whole load." I let out a short laugh. "Pitching in? You thought a guy making 38 grand a year could pitch in for college tuition, internet, and your stupid golf subscription?" He winced at that. "I never asked for that stuff." "No, you didn't," I said. "You just expected it without knowing it. And when it disappeared, everything fell apart." His voice got defensive. "Look, I've had a lot on my plate, all right? I didn't mean to. I'm not here for excuses," I said, cutting him off again. "I'm here so you hear this out loud." We sat there for a while, just the clink of plates and forks around us. The waitress came by twice. We waved her off both times. Finally, he muttered, "Things need to change." I nodded. "Yeah, they do." We didn't hug. We didn't shake hands. We just sat there, each of us staring at the cracks in the table like they were answers. 2 days after the diner, my cousin texted me, "Can we talk? Just me and you." I told her to meet me at the coffee shop near the bus stop. Neutral spot, nothing too personal. She showed up with a notebook in her hand and this nervous look like she was heading into a job interview. She sat across from me, pulled her sleeves down past her wrists, and got right to it. "Wait," she said, flipping open the notebook. "How much was the internet bill again?" $75 a month, sometimes $90 if we went over the data cap. Her eyebrows shot up. "And you paid that every month?" I nodded. "What about the water bill?" "About 60, give or take." "Okay, but the phone plan was under Mom's name, right?" "No. It was under mine. Your number was a subline off my plan." She blinked like I just told her the sky was green. "Since when?" "Since she moved to Texas. You were 16. Her mouth dropped open. She sat back, arms crossed tight over her chest. "Were you paying my school fees too?" she asked, quieter now. I nodded again. "Not the whole tuition, but I covered the meal plan and your registration fees every semester." "Jesus," she rubbed her face. "I didn't." I never thought about it. No one did. I just figured Uncle Rick handled it. I didn't respond to that. She looked down at her notebook, then closed it and slid it off to the side like it didn't even matter anymore. I'm sorry, she said. I really mean that. I wasn't trying to be selfish. You weren't trying at all, I cut in. That was the problem. You didn't think about who kept the lights on. You just plugged in your charger. She nodded, fast. You're right. You're totally right. I didn't think. I was so used to things just working. I never asked where the money came from. The apology was awkward, but real. Her hands were shaking a little, and her voice cracked near the end. I believed her. Then she leaned forward. What can I do now? Like seriously. How do I help? That caught me off guard. I paused, then said, start by asking what things cost. All of them. Don't assume. Don't guess. Look at the bills with me. I can do that, she said. I want to. And maybe get a part-time job. Something flexible, even a couple nights a week. I've already applied at the bookstore on campus. That hit me harder than I expected. I didn't say anything, but she must have seen something on my face because she smiled, almost shy. I'm not trying to be a freeloader, she said. Not anymore. For the first time in a long time, I actually believed someone in that house got it. 2 weeks later, I showed up at the apartment on a Sunday with a stack of printed bills and a notepad. No yelling, no drama, just numbers and time. We sat at the kitchen table, me, my uncle, and my cousin. First time in forever that no one had a TV remote in their hand or headphones in their ears. I laid everything out. Rent, due dates, utilities, car insurance, streaming services, her school fees. Every recurring payment in black and white. We're doing this once a month, I said. Sit down, no excuses. If you're living here, you're looking at the numbers. My cousin nodded right away. She'd started her job at the bookstore that week, already picked up groceries twice, and even brought home one of those magnetic whiteboards for the fridge. It had the word bills written across the top in red marker. My uncle? He grunted, leaned back in the chair with his arms crossed. You know, he muttered, back in my day, parents took care of things. Kids just focused on school. I stared at him. That'd be great, except I'm not your kid. And even if I was, you sure didn't act like a parent when you threw me out. He shut up after that. The silence was tense, but I let it sit. It needed to. I'm not doing this so I can be in control, I said. I'm doing it so everyone knows what the hell is going on. No more assumptions. No more ghost bills floating around in the dark. My cousin flipped open her little notebook. How much should I chip in for the internet? 25 for now, I said. I'll cover the rest. But once you get steady hours, we'll adjust. She wrote it down. What about groceries? You're already doing more than before, I said. We'll rotate weeks. She nodded, and for the first time in years, I felt like we were talking, not just existing under the same roof. Then my uncle shifted again and mumbled, I just always thought the man of the house was supposed to handle all this stuff. I looked him dead in the eye. It wasn't about being the man of the house. It was about respect. You don't get to ignore bills for years and then act like it's someone else's job. He didn't argue, just nodded, eyes on the table. It was the closest thing to agreement I'd ever gotten out of him. We went through every bill line by line, every service, every due date. By the end of it, we had a calendar on the fridge, assignments next to each one. No one stormed out. No one cursed. And for once, we weren't surviving. We were actually managing. For months later, I moved back in with rules. No more guessing. No more covering for people who pretended they didn't see what I was doing. Everyone had to show up with something, money, time, or effort. First week back, I made it clear. If you need help, ask. If you're struggling, say it out loud. But no more quiet expectations. I'm not your safety net anymore. My cousin was the first to speak up. I'm still getting used to budgeting. I'm not great at it yet. Then ask questions, I told her. You don't need to be perfect, just be present. She kept up with the bills board, picked up extra shifts at the bookstore when she could, and stopped using the last roll of toilet paper like it magically refilled itself. We had a rhythm now. She checked in with me before spending anything big, even asked before renewing her Spotify account. I didn't need her to ask permission, but the fact she thought to ask, that mattered. Uncle Rick, he was slower. He still grumbled when we brought up the bill calendar. Still muttered stuff like, I just never thought it'd be like this, needing to split every penny. One day I called him out. No one's asking you to split every penny. We're asking you to show up for your own damn household. He didn't argue, just nodded and changed the subject. That was his version of listening. But I saw the changes. Quiet ones. He started cooking twice a week, started wiping down the counters without being asked, opened his mail instead of letting it pile up untouched on the table. Once, I caught him on the phone with the water company asking about autopay. It wasn't some grand transformation. He was still stubborn, still old school, still uncomfortable talking about money. But he was trying. And honestly, so were all of us. The house felt different now. No more side eyes about money. No more waiting for someone to fail and blaming them after. We talked, we planned, we owned our part in things. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was dragging everyone along behind me. We were finally pulling together. Sometimes I'd catch myself standing in the kitchen, just watching things. My cousin rinsing out her coffee mug. My uncle grabbing the mail before it hit the floor. Small things, but real. And I'd think, damn, it shouldn't have taken this much. But it did. Leaving taught me more than I expected. Not just about them, but about me. I let it happen. For years, I played the quiet provider, the one who fixed everything without complaint. Thought if I just kept showing up, eventually they'd get it. They didn't, and I didn't say anything. Not loud enough, not clear enough. I'd been trying to keep the peace by avoiding the war. Turns out, that just made me invisible. So yeah, I owned part of the silence. I'd been enabling the whole dynamic, pretending it was normal to carry everything while getting treated like I did nothing. But I'm not excusing them either. They didn't ask questions, didn't check, didn't care enough to notice how much I gave until it was gone. That voicemail from my uncle, it was the shift. Not because he apologized, he didn't, but because, for once, he saw it. He went through the bills, saw my name on everyone, heard the numbers, knew the weight. And for the first time, I wasn't just the guy who lived in the back room. I was the one who held the whole damn place together. That hit different, not because it fixed anything overnight, but because it finally put the truth in the open. They saw me, not just the money, not just the tasks, me. And no, I don't regret walking out that night, not even close, because that's what it took to make them open their eyes. Question for you, have you ever had to walk away from people just to make them see your worth? Drop your answer in the comments, and if this hit home, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories like this.